Now you said that you didn't want to do the math to start the missile at the end of the turret.
Yes,
So how does that compare to what you're doing there? I mean, in terms of complexity.
it's just as easy for me to do either,
Hmm.
but it was easier for me to explain a cheat than it was to explain additional vector math in a big long piece of code. It would actually be longer because I would have to do something like this. Which direction is the vector pointing? Move it by that much. Uh, and the thing is actually after all that, I decided that if I moved the laser and I created it right here, well, then it would just pop into existence. And I'd have to be safe. I'd have to move it a little bit away from the edge to be absolutely sure that it wasn't going to trigger the collision. And at some point, it would look visually bad. So I thought, most people when they fire from the center of their thing. They hide it underneath their turret or the thing that is firing, and then they do a little cheat, little hack. They go, oh yeah, shoot, that's hitting the thing that I don't want it to hit. I just ignore it for half a second. I'm good. This is the kind of thing that happens all the time. You think
Excellent.
when people see games that are like, wow, that looks so great, they must be great programmers, and they are. But great programmers, I'm not saying I am one, but programmers who are great, they know, sometimes you just got to cheat. You got to cheat a little bit.
It's an illusion.
Cheat.
It's all an illusion, right? I mean, we've
It's
seen it
all an
over and
illusion.
over. We've
It's a
seen it
little
over
hack.
and over again.
Yeah. So it's all good and it works.
Uh,
Okay, so we got a bunch of other turrets, and it's way too much. One thing I do want people to see, let me just undo everything that I did to this file today. All the changes. Stop with the changes. Sorry. Okay, good. Hopefully that still works. Um, rocket turrets. So I just wanted to say that it's because I'm so proud of it. Where is it? So in order to do thrusting this forward, aiming at the player, including changing the aim as the player moves around, hopefully I don't get killed. But make it do cool stuff like that. 3 lines of code. So I very much encourage people to dig into the action library, which is now included with this game, and which will eventually come out as a plugin. But basically what happened there is I had an enter frame listener on the rocket, so every frame, ignore this part, which is just my safety code to make sure it hasn't been destroyed. Every frame, I tell the rocket to face this target, which is the player, and I set a rate. I say your maximum turning speed is 120 degrees per second, so you can't turn instantly. You got to take your time. And so it faces at a fixed rate, so you can change that, make it slower or faster, and that'll change the curve of the rocket. So example, if I made this 30, real slow turn, I reloaded this. Now it doesn't turn very fast at all, right? You see how it can't seem to like turn and hit me?
mhm.
Or I could set this to 360 degrees, load it, run it. Now it's gonna woo. No problem keeping up with me. Or you could just take this off completely. And now that's the same as saying immediately face me. Has no problem whatsoever facing me.
Yeah, but it
So
runs now. It runs into the thing you're running around now.
yeah, so I like the smooth one. I chose 120 because I gave it a nice. It started to like follow me around
Hmm.
platforms and stuff. That was pretty cool. So in 1 line of code, you handle all of that ugly, widgety, difficult calculation to do facing at a fixed rate or whatever rate you want to do, and then using the move physics sub library of actions, you say move forward, whatever forward is for you, and at a rate of whatever. So whatever speed I'm telling you to move at. So 2 lines of code does all the physics, all the calculations, and then finally another line of code here, which has nothing to do with the action library, which is the particles. And this thing comes with 6 different particle options. I encourage you to go into this code on line 128 and cycle through them and see what happens. For example, particle 1 is square trail. Particle 2 is circular trail. I won't show the others, but that's circular trail. After this one, I won't show you. And then the last one is a line. So it uses lines instead, which then are connected to each other. Which I kind of like that one the best for this.
It's nice and smooth.
Yeah, it's smoother. And then 4, 5, 6 are square, circle, line again, but they are what I call rainbow. In other words, they're randomly colored. So just to make it look a little more jazzy. So, but all this code is nice visual effects in just a few lines of code. But again, I want to push the action library, which I've got coming up soon, because it's a big deal. I had it in my back storage for a long time, and I hadn't released it because I didn't have a good way to put it into the public in such a way that was maintainable for me. But as a plugin, is maintainable.
Yeah, well, it seems like it makes a lot of sense. You know, it's centralized, and now when you make changes, everybody gets it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So I've gone a half an hour over. I do apologize for that.
So where does that leave us for next time? What do you want to try to talk about next time?
I think. Oh man.
Or do we just? Well, we can just talk about that later.
Yeah, I don't know. I've blown my brain cells out on this one.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, but it sounds like we still have more to cover, so let's just plan, I guess, to cover whatever's left on turrets.
Yeah, I mean, there's more on turrets. We could definitely take our time and slow down.
Yeah, today was an introduction to vector math and some of the concepts and things like that, and we went over the initial code. So I think, yeah, if we come back next time and maybe do like a short refresher, just to kind of.
Is that a hint to me? Short?
Well, no, that's not a hint to you. That's just
okay.
So everybody knows that we won't cover the same thing we covered today, but it would be good to kind of say, hey, if you didn't watch that other video, you can at least kind of get an idea of what's going on, and then maybe cover some of the pieces, because I know you had 3 or 4 different types of turrets there. So
yeah, we got 3 turrets so far, with a possibility of 2 more turret types.
Yeah, so let's do that. We'll look at that, and then whatever else comes up.
I'll take people on a slower play-by-play of the actual calculations so they understand what's going on next time.
Yeah.
They're kind of just breezed over. Okay, take an angle, go to the right.
Yeah, exactly. And for me personally, I just sort of shortcutted that in my head. Said, okay, well, there's some vector math involved, and waved my hands around a little bit in my head instead of, okay.
The difficulty with vector math is it's like I keep finding myself wanting to talk about these things, but not being sure if people are 100% grounded in the terms I'm trying to use. Especially when I don't always do a good job of using them 100% correctly.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, we're very good. Well, you guys know what to do. Download the code that Ed has provided. Compare it to what was discussed today. There's also 4 other episodes or shows that you can go check out at youtube.com/CoronaGeek, where we've covered all the different aspects of this game. So go back and watch those as well to kind of pick out the pieces that are interesting to you. And until next week, have a great week and happy coding.
Yeah, and let us know if you want us to do an editor. People, please let us know.
Oh, yeah. No, I really want to do an editor. I think that's a great idea.
Let us know.
Oh, yeah, let us know. Tell Ed you want an editor.
Yeah. Make it worth it.